works. I've been praying for a long time to be used on this platform, and I would have never imagined it'd be this way. So thank God for the opportunity. I'd rather climb on Craig at midnight than Thomas Mack over there and before being on stage in front of a bunch of people, but I'll do my best up here for you. I might have to use my cheat sheet, so just hang with me here. As you've seen, this year was really good. I had a very, very blessed season, clear up till the accident happened. I wasn't injured, nothing. I won Fort Worth to wear on that work belt at home every day, which, being a rodeo cowboy, you know that belt doesn't get wore very much. But I was blessed enough to win some big bucket list rodeos this year. I've always strived to be a cowboy and to be the best at what I was doing, and use the God-given talents and abilities that He's given me to glorify Him. So I always strove to be the best, to be a world champion. I trained hard and gave it my all every time. But most importantly, I always wanted to use His platform to glorify Him and in and outside the arena. And most importantly, to give back to people, as people have been giving to me my whole career since I was a little kid. I started riding. I grew up riding sheep and steers. I wanted to be just like my Uncle Duncan and ride bulls. And I got on my first bareback horse when I was 14. Then away it went from there. High school rodeoed, got to win the high school finals in 2009, won the college finals in 2011, won Rookie of the Year. Then the ball just kept rolling. This year was my 6th qualification to the NFR, and as you've seen, this year, at the end of the season, I was on the bubble. I was 14th. I was about 5,000 out of being in the top 10. My goal was to be the top 10 coming in the finals here. So that last weekend, Tanner and I went to Pasadena, and we went to Pasadena, Amarillo, and Texarkana with 2 weeks left in the season. And that horse flipped on me, breaking T9 and T10. And immediately, when that horse flipped, she circled around there, hit the bucket chutes, and she came over. And it's happened to me 100 times. Usually I can get out of the way, but just the way she hit, she reared back on her hocks and bailed in the air and had me as a sitting duck. Couldn't get out of the way, and she folded me in half. Right away, I felt my back break, and I couldn't feel my legs. I knew it wasn't good, but there for a split second, you know how rodeo is, it's all loud, and there's shrieks and screams, and everybody's coming rushing to me, and I was in my own little trance, my own little world for a second, and I heard this voice that said, you can either accept that your back's broke, your legs don't work, your career's over, and your life is ending, or you can give everything to me, accept me as the great healer, start praying in my name, and you'll get your legs back. And that's what I did. And then I came back, Donnie Gay had the whole arena praying over me. I had people were rushing to me, what do you need, what do you need? I just need some prayer, I just need some prayer. They laid their hands on me, started praying for me. And I believe that I'm a miracle in the making. I'm going to receive a miracle. My wife was 23 hours away. She was at home. It was one weekend this whole rodeo season, she didn't get come to me. She got the most dreaded phone call bareback rider's wife could have ever got. I couldn't talk. The horse, she rolled into my hand come out. Praise God. I didn't hang and drag around the arena. So my hand came out, she got up, she stomped on my guts, and I thought she crushed my rib cage. It hurt worse than my back. Actually, I was the most excruciating pain I'd ever been in, and for minutes and minutes and minutes, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't talk. So I was trying to. They had me in the ambulance, and I was trying to call her, and she answered, but I couldn't get the words out. So another buddy had to grab my phone and say, "Hey, JR's been hurt. You need to get on a plane ticket or get a plane ticket, get down here." So they life flatted me to the medical center. That would have been probably 9 o'clock. I spent till 3 o'clock in the morning doing x-rays, MRIs, CT scans, and then so they found out that T10 had broke completely through. They call it a chance fracture, so horizontally that whole vertebrae had cracked and shifted my spine, was pinching my spinal cord, and then partially through T9. So I couldn't feel anything from the belly button down. And so they had to do surgery, emergency surgery. They got me in first case the next morning, 7 o'clock, put 2 rods, 8 screws, fused it all together, gave me a backbone of steel. So then that next morning, it was a 5-hour surgery. It was supposed to be 6 to 10 hours, but it ended up only being 5. By the time I woke up, Shelby was there. And I just remember, I remember seeing her for the first time. She had tears in her eyes, and I could not wait to give my wife a hug, just to feel that embrace of my wife give me a hug. I knew everything was going to be all right, but it was dang sure going to be all right as soon as she got there. And I told her, I remember telling her, honey, we have 2 choices. We can either ask why, find the blame, wonder why it happened to me, not somebody else, why he chose me, why this tragedy was going to happen, or we can give everything to God, start searching for His promises, put my nose to the grindstone, get to work, and try to get my legs back. That's what I decided to do. One of the first verses I came to was James 1, 2 through 4. It says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing." So right then and there, I decided, all right, God, here you are. You got me literally on my back in this bed, and I can't run away. And I'm going to find the joy. I'm going to find the joy in this situation, and I'm going to let you use me and use this situation for your good. See, I don't believe God intended for that to happen. I don't believe that God intends for tragedies to happen. John 10:10 says, "The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I come to give a rich and prosperous life." So God's been preparing me for this for a long time. I've been awful close to God in my relationship right now, and I believe the devil is the one coming to try to knock me down. And I had 2 choices. I could either let him win, or I could stand up with God, put my trust back in Him, and let Him carry me through. And that's what I've decided to do. How do you find the joy, some people might ask, in a situation like this? Some days it can be tough, I ain't gonna lie. Wheelchairs suck. Anybody in a wheelchair would know wheelchairs suck. It sucks. Staring at your toes for 50 days in a row, praying that they'll just wiggle just a little bit. I just want to wiggle, and it not come yet. It's tough. It can be tough. But I've learned that you got to find the little, most minute things to find joy in. As a rodeo cowboy, I've got to spend the last 2 months, every single day, over 2 months with my wife. And you don't get that very often, being full-time on the road. September 1st, my wife told me she was pregnant with a kid. And so I've got to watch her little belly grow over the last few months. So that's been awesome. The other day we went home for the first time, and I got to wear jeans again for the first time, and get in a pickup and ride around and look at the cows and look at the horses and look at the sheep. And my heart was so full being able to put my cowboy hat on one day instead of my workout shoes and my sweats. So I've decided you gotta find the joy in the situation, in the trial, and let your faith grow, and just find the little things to be happy for. I was doing a phone interview one day and telling my story, and I looked down and I see my thigh twitch, and my face just lit up. I looked at my wife and said, they're coming alive, my thigh twitched. Or in that video you seen where I could do about a half a spur stroke, I've been trying for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I was starting to get a few spasms. And so I'd get a little spasm, and then I'd try to control it, and I'd squeeze, how you do a full body squeeze. You don't understand how, you can lift weights, and you can run or jog and you get wore out and tired, but if you sit all day and you just do a full body flex for an hour, it's a workout now, I tell you. That's what I've been doing. I just sit there and I flex and I try to get everything to move. And that leg jump, and I did a half a spur stroke. I looked at my wife and said, "Did you see that?" I said, "We better call them boys and tell them don't count me out yet, because I'm fixing on getting on to the final." You got to be thankful in all situations. Philippians 4:4 says to always be full of joy in the Lord. I say it again, rejoice. You got to find the little things to be thankful for. And a couple things that will help you out, make that easier, is by having faith, trust, and believing. To have faith, Hebrews 11:1 describes it to believe in the things you cannot see. So, as a Christian, I believe that Jesus died on the cross for my sins. Did I see it? No, but I believe it, and I have faith in that. And I believe that God created the earth, and He created man, and He created humans. Did I see it? No, but I believe that, and I have faith in that. Can you physically see me walking right now? No, but I have faith, and I believe that that voice that I heard is real, and that I will walk again. And when you're backed into the corner, or knocked down, or whatever struggle it is you're coming to, you've lost your job, or you're looking for a new job, or you're in a bad drawing streak, you've gone 2 weeks without winning a check, or you're breaking a barrier, whatever it may be, that's when you find true faith and trust. And when that's all you have to rely on and lean on, that's when you understand what true faith and trust is. And that's all we've got, is when you're backed into the corner, the devil's trying to knock you down. That's all you got. You got to lean on the Lord. You got to lean on God, and let Him carry you through it. And know that He has a plan, and that He will come through, and that His will and His calling will prevail. Where do you find faith and trust? Well, first of all, in the good book. If you want to know how to overcome something or get through a struggle, don't think you're the first one that's ever been through the struggle. I'm not the first person that's been paralyzed from the waist down. They talk about miracles of healing of people being paralyzed in Bible times. There's been people that are broke, without jobs, blind, can't see, can't hear, healings. Shoot, they've dealt with those problems for long time. So you want to find the promises of how to get through some of that stuff, search in your Bible. We did a study, my wife and I, did a study shortly thereafter for 40 days, and it went through all the miracles in the New Testament, and time and time again, Jesus said, because of your faith you are healed. Because you believed, you are healed. The lady with the bleeding problem, all she wanted to do was touch him. She knew that if she could just touch his cloak, that she would be healed. Or the Roman officer whose son, he went up to Jesus and he said, "Lord, I know that you can heal him from here. I don't deserve you to come to my house, but I have faith that you can heal him from here." And if those promises in there don't build your trust a little bit, I don't know what will. I mean, you don't have to search very hard to find how to trust or have faith or believe in the Lord. The other, I believe that God's the same today as He was yesterday, as He will be forever. So those miracles that He provided back then, whether it be helping somebody find a job or healing somebody that was paralyzed and couldn't move, or the sick, the blind, the diseased, He still does those works today. So you just got to ask for them and believe that they're going to happen. That leads me to another thing where you find trust and faith is in prayer. You want to lean on the Lord and dig into the Word, and then start asking Him, "Hey, Lord, I'm all yours, man. Shoot, let me put my trust in you and let you carry me through." He'll always send encouragers and people to help you out and help you through. And this isn't the first struggle I've been through. I can guarantee you, He's been preparing me to be able to battle through this and help me get through this. From trials and tribulations in my past that I've overcome. So he always provides. If you let Him and you lean into Him, He'll always provide. He always sends encouragers. So I guess in closing, I just want to thank everybody for believing in me. See, I told God right away, I believe Romans 8:28, where he says, and we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. And I always believe that. I believe that God would make something good come out of this, and that the devil wouldn't win, and that my biggest dream and my biggest vision was to be an inspiration and to be able to encourage, even if it was just one person. I just wanted to shine God's light and encourage at least one person in this world to never give up, to never back down, to lean on the Lord and let him carry you through and to strengthen you. And I always visioned it the day that I would walk. And I've had every day since the accident, somebody either call me, text me, email me, tell me in person how big of an encouragement I've already been and an inspiration I've already been. So I know God's at work, and he's working bigger than I could even fathom. And I'm just humbled to be the pawn that he's using in this game that we call life. And it's been the most humbling situation that I've ever been in. We've had an outpouring of love and people praying for us, sending us donations, helping us through our burdens. I had our fall project with the baby on the way. Our fall project was to add an addition onto our house so the baby had a room. And some people back home, we went home the other day and some people had already started it. I didn't know how we were going to get it done. We were going to have to hire it done now. And we got home and somebody had already poured the foundation, had the walls up. God is so good, and he will carry you through if you let him. And I just want to encourage somebody today to never back down. Whatever struggle it is that you're going through, or whatever trial it is that you come to, whether you're on the top of the mountain or in the bottom of the well, to never give up. You got to chase that line. You got to be like David was to Goliath and run to the battle. The Lord prepares you for every situation. Before the accident, about 3 months before the accident, my wife and I, we have this YouVersion Bible app, and we take turns picking studies. And it was her turn, and she picked this study, and it was being a selfless servant and showing selfless love towards your spouse. So we get reading this study, and you won't believe it, but what's it talking about? It's talking about a wife taking care of a disabled husband. And we did about 2 or 3 days worth, and we said, she just don't pertain to us, so we didn't do any more of it. And then right before I left for Puyallup this year, we don't have TV at the house, but we have Netflix, so I got into watching like inspirational sports documentaries, and one of them was about this kid who got in a motorcycle wreck in California. It's called Coming to My Senses. And he broke his neck and ended up paralyzed. He was a quadriplegic. And he had a sister that painted his toes, and she was picking fun at him and just said, paying you back for being a bigger brother than me and always picking on me. And she painted his toes and made him angry. But he said he used that mentally. He used the colors on his toes to start making his toes wiggle. And his biggest goal was to get on his feet and walk across the desert, 20 miles across the desert, camp across the desert. And it shows his whole rehab situation and how he overcame. And he ended up walking the 20 miles across the desert. And I told my wife, I said, if I ever ended up in a situation like that, I would have the same outlook that guy had. I would keep the positive attitude and never take no for an answer. And I believe that God's a great healer, that he's a provider, that whatever trial, whatever hardship that you're coming to or you're faced with, that he will provide and he will get you through. The attitude that I've decided to have comes from this last verse I'm going to share with you. It's Mark 9:23. And it's Jesus talking, and it says, "What do you mean, if I can?" Jesus said, "Anything is possible if a person believes." So all you got to do is believe. Believe in the miracle. Believe in whatever it is that you're asking for. You believe, and you'll get it. When in doubt, spur your way out. That's about all I got.